We've got some
Hey,
fresh new
I'm
young
Luis.
talent
And
doing some
I'm
things that I
Luis.
know you haven't
And you're
heard
listening to the
before.
Content is Profit podcast. We are back live on the show with part 2 of Top Trends 2023 in the marketing area.
That is right. And today's episode is brought to you by the one and only HubSpot, which we are actually reading some of the stats that they share in this report, the top marketing trends for 2023.
That's right. We're giving them the BIZBROS spin. So
Well, we're sharing their stats, and then we are adding some extra value with the BIZBROS take.
you know that jokes are not jokes anymore when you explain the joke.
I don't think that was a joke. You're like, we're giving them the BIZBROS spin. How's that
And
a
then
joke?
people are laughing at and then you explain the joke and then they're like,
Now people understand why your wife says your jokes are terrible.
All right,
Now,
anyways.
that's a joke right there.
It's because my wife, no, I'm kidding. Okay, the first stat, FONZI, what are you talking about? What are we talking
we're
about?
just diving straight in.
Diving straight in.
Straight in. So I'm gonna give like just a quick 30-second recap of the stats that we talked last time. And if you want to hear more in detail, you know what they are and our take, just go to the previous episode and listen to it. And if you already know, just make sure you also download the episode on whatever platform you're listening to, so we get those extra listens. Stat number 1: influencer marketing will evolve into common marketing tactic. BIZBROS take: you need to be an attractive character. You need to find an attractive character in your company as well.
That's right.
Stat number 2, I'll say step 2. Stat number 2, video marketers will keep content short. I mean, if you haven't noticed that, you're living under a rock, but BIZBROS take: shorts, reels, TikTok generate interest and they have more potential for virality. So leverage that thing, baby.
Leverage. I mean, from organic and paid, both sides, right? So I think those are strong. Go back and listen to episode 355 and let us know what you think.
Yeah, we go definitely more in depth in those.
That's right. So today we're going to be talking. The first thing is social media will become a customer service tool.
All right, so I'm going to first read the stats and then we'll go into our take. But 15% of marketers plan to try it for the first time in 2023.
Plan social media to try social media as a customer
service tool, correct.
Yes.
Then 20% of Gen Zers and nearly 25% of millennials have contacted a brand on social media for customer service in the past 3 months. Honestly, I feel like that number is probably even higher.
Yeah.
You can see the trend. Also, I've noticed a lot of the trends that a lot of the advertising is going to DMs instead of going to landing pages. Is sending people to those brands or businesses DMs to immediately start a conversation there.
I mean, just today we were having that discussion about how different businesses, right, are leaning more and more into even their sales teams, right, having full conversations and connecting with real humans behind those DMs, right? Obviously, there's a ton of solutions out there, and you see what fits your business. But we are in the boat or on the boat of real people having those conversations. But
I remember I feel like the pioneer of that was like Wendy's with Twitter, right? With like, they would like crack jokes and stuff like that. But at the same time, when people would complain or say something, they would be right there. I feel like T-Mobile was pretty good in that sense too, in Twitter. When people would complain or something, I would always see a message like, hey, contact us. And then we'll help you out.
I know. So, I mean, I think if you're a company, right, that have social media channels already developed, you guys are being consistent in a way. Just keep this in mind, right? If you don't have this, because I'm sure you already have people reaching out in there. The days where you have a social media manager that might be external to your company or an agency, I think those are over. Then you might have to bring somebody in-house to handle all of those requests and making sure that people get serviced the right way. Right. So
they want coherence between the brand, right? So if you have somebody external, that might be a challenge, right? The message might be distorted somewhere along the way.
Yeah.
But if you have somebody in-house that, obviously knows the brand, knows the voice, knows the message and the mission that you guys have for the company, is probably going to be even better for them to share their message. Yeah. Now, the BIZBROS take on that.
Wait. Before you do that.
Okay, what is it?
We talked about attrition before, right? Like
you put in the handbrake. You're like,
I know. We've talked about attrition before, right? A person comes into your business and you guys are, they get service, they consume your products, they succeed, they do all this. But at the end of the day, there's some people that might fall off, right? So this is also a great way if they're reaching out to you. Please don't ignore those messages, right? This is a great opportunity also to grab some of that content that you produce every single day and maybe create some stuff that's really targeted to the most common questions. Doesn't have to be a service rep answering all these things. They can potentially, like, if you start building different systems, you can record the answers, whether that's the CEO, the CMO, the person that's that attractive character of the most common questions. And that can be a piece of content that can be shared there, build rapport, build the trust, because they already know that person. They might have come from that. And a good example of this is I had a meeting with a network of fitness studios not so long ago, and they were talking about, they're producing a podcast for 10 different studios, and they were talking about how do they use some of those pieces to increase the customer rapport with the people that they already have in their communities, right? So there's another way to look at your content pipeline and your content ecosystem.
Good job. That's
okay.
pretty good. So what is the BIZBROS take?
Releasing handbrake.
Releasing handbrake. BIZBROS take. I mean, we kind of share already about this, but we don't see it just as customer service, but we actually know of people that sell products, $1,500 products straight through the DMs without jumping on calls and whatnot, right? Yeah. Also, people that are retargeting people from their pipelines, from their funnels back into DMs to engage them in conversation. So honestly, I feel it's not just one part of the acquisition system. In this case, I guess customer service is more the retention part of it, but it's actually a full and important piece on the acquisition side of clients as well. So keep that in mind.
Absolutely. So my question to you is, do you have a system in place where if people reach out to you, what gets triggered? Is it a person? Is it a virtual assistant? Is it somebody internally in your company that helps them? Or maybe is a flow of videos that are designed to not only keep them, but add more value and make sure that they become a fan of your brand and your company. So things to think about. Let us know. Have you thought about it? Send us a quick DM at BIZBROS on every social media. Okay, number 2 for today. So aligned marketing and sales teams will win. We'll let Fonzie share the stat, but we've been saying this since even before Content Momentum or the podcast started. We remember when we were pitching to small businesses like 5 years ago with the anti-marketing agency.
The anti-marketing
agency. And we will come in there and you will see often that at the time we were working with a lot of franchises. So corporate messaging in the marketing was very different than what the sales teams were doing on the ground. So we worked with a lot of gyms, and the sales teams were not in tune with the messaging that was coming out. And sometimes, if you do own a franchise, you might experience this where the corporate messaging is very different or is so far away to the problems and the things that your customers or your leads are experiencing every single day. So this is extremely important, and this is why we feel that today is the best opportunity for every single company to be so connected with their communities, their customers.
You do it in front of the camera. So connected.
Okay.
For our listening friends, we're intertwining our fingers.
Yeah.
So connected.
So what's the stat, Fonzie?
is
not our fingers, your own fingers with your own hands. Yeah, we're not touching right now.
There we go.
Nope.
There we go. Connected. Intertwined fingers.
Okay, wow.
Right.
Stat.
Only 31% of marketers say their sales and marketing teams are strongly aligned. I don't know about you, but that is worrisome, right? If your marketing is not giving, sales qualified leads to your sales team, they're probably going to be somewhat pissed off or upset, right? Because they're not going to be closing, and therefore they're probably not going to be making that bread and, feeding their families off of the commissions that they should be paying them. So I'll just invite you to think, how can we align our marketing and sales efforts so whatever is coming in the pipeline is definitely aligned with the goals of the sales team. Now, this is a golden boulder right here that I'm about to launch.
I'm ready.
You ready?
I'm ready.
One of our favorite ways of doing this is through the 6-figure platform. Yes, baby. And where's the sound?
Hold on, the volume was down. Here we go.
Right, let me repeat it. 6-figure platform. Hit it. There
Let's
we go.
Now,
why is that? That has a base of is that it's a little bit similar to ABM. So if you're in the B2B world, you might know a little bit more about ABM. but in theory it's called account-based marketing, in which you pretty much go and identify those people, those companies that you know would be an ideal client for you, and then you pretty much direct your marketing efforts straight to those people and those companies that can the decision makers inside of that company. Therefore, once they go through the pipeline and they land to your salespeople, it is a way easier sell.
You want to level that up? Have your salespeople develop an attractive character in a sense, right? We talked about this, and have them.
I was gonna
go
there. You're stealing my thunder right now,
bro. Give me that thunder. Give it to me.
Well, I was just gonna say now.
Continue with the thunder.
That is like the ABM side of things, but like how does a 6-figure platform plays a role in there is with this attractive character, which can be your salesperson. It can actually be one of the marketing people as well, right? Or in some cases, the person that does the marketing is the person that does the sales as well. So that person now can bring into the platform, for us personally, is content is profit. They can bring those decision makers, right? Target them specifically, build rapport, build a relationship. And then after you have that trust built, you can explore possibilities and opportunities to translate that into business.
We're actually going through a yearly planning with one of the companies that we help right now, and every single person from sales to marketing is involved in that call, because they need to be 100% in sync on this. And this is pretty interesting, right? Because when the CEO goes out and they do their speaking engagements, right? And right now they're on tour, they bring their number one sales guy with them, because they need to be aware of the message. What are we selling? Where's the thing? And it's pretty interesting, because what Fonzie said, go out and what are your top prospects, right? Actionable step. Put on a list your top 12, your target 12 prospects, and then have them invited, not into like a sales call immediately, right? Bring them into your platform, whatever that is, right? Is it a blog collaboration? Is it a podcast? We highly, highly recommend podcasts, obviously. Is it a video podcast, right? Is it a YouTube style thing, right? A good example of this is Noah Kagan, right? Like, he connects with a lot of very successful people on his YouTube videos. He says, for example, I asked 60-year-olds or, millionaires how they created their companies, and he's connected with founders. And after that connection, I am 100% sure, because I've heard feedback from somebody that knows him very well, that he's asking advice on how to run this company, how to sell their company, and different things, right? For him, that's the value. But for you, like, okay, is it a massive client? Is it a massive lead that we can add value, that we can build a relationship and then develop a business after that? So how are you today including these elements into your marketing and sales, or market sales? Mark sales. We're gonna be like just the one thing.
Mark tech, Mark sales.
Mark sales.
Also,
one
I think
thing, baby.
This is a hypothesis in a way, but I personally think that depending on where you host your platform, kind of like changes the status as well of you on that relationship, right? Yeah. Personally, I think let's call it a LinkedIn show is not the same as an Instagram live show, right? I think it kind of like gives different vibes. Same as a podcast, right? A podcast develops a different level of status in comparison to just a Facebook Live, for example, right? And
even inside of a podcast, right? You have, podcasts that are produced during a Zoom call, or do you have an external studio that you record on? For example, our podcast, right? We have our studio here. We record here. It's online. We don't bring people in person yet. But then you also have people that build in-house studios. So the perception of that, right, is that, and we actually met in Boise a few weeks ago, somebody that has this massive studio in Miami, and he's like, hey, I'll just bring you into my studio. Is a tax deductible trip for you. So you win on that side. We have this amazing experience. We talk. And then, and I asked him straight up, I'm like, hey, do you use this as a sales vehicle where you develop relationships and then make deals? And they're in the real estate space. And he's like, 100%. That's exactly what we do. And for him, the perceived value of that person that's coming to that studio is going to be way, way higher than somebody that does a Zoom show. So again, go back to the publishing pyramid and look at your resources. How are you investing your time? How are you investing the money that you have? Are you able to build something like this? A local company that we helped a couple of years ago did the same thing. We started recording locally, right? Then COVID happened. They transitioned to Zoom meetings, and then they actually built an in-house studio where they were able to bring people, or they also were able to Zoom people out, but the final product was really high quality, and that helped them a ton with that authority building.
100%.
All right, I have 2 minutes, so should we go into the next ones?
No,
there's two more.
I think honestly, I'm bringing the next ones, and I think they're not that relevant to the content is profit, fam. I'm honestly just gonna skim over them.
Sounds good.
But personally, I think we already shared the most valuable ones. The next one is inbound marketing will remain a best practice for growing brands. I don't think that's a surprise, if I'm being honest. Everybody wants leads and people that are, showing already attention and intention and raising their hands and saying, I'm interested in this topic. Mm-hmm. And then you obviously try to transition those into your business. Also, I see why including that makes sense in the article, right? Because HubSpot helps you with inbound marketing.
That conference is called Inbound.
there we go. So
by the way,
makes total sense including that one in the article. But at the same time, it is relevant, very, very relevant. So can you be successful just doing outbound? 100%. Can you be successful only doing inbound? 100%. We are fans of finding your own how, right? What is it that works for you? Not what works for other companies might not work necessarily for you and, the way you do business or the way your organization is set up. So make sure you're taking that into consideration when you're deciding to do outbound, inbound, both, whatever it is, or your six-sale platform,
Yeah, I'm a big fan of if you are heavy inbound, right? If you are relying on those ads, we all know what happened with the iOS update not so long ago, right? With TikTok, different platforms, it can be somewhat overwhelming. But if you have a system that's already running, right, that's perfect. But at the same time, think about the back end of that pipeline or your platform, right? Who are the big fish that you can make probably bigger deals, bigger relationships, one too many, right? And use your publishing platform as you build your authority, relevancy, and trust, right? As you build your brand, use that back end to connect with those big relationships that you can do, right? Probably they don't have the time to be looking at your inbound marketing, and that's probably the best way, the fastest path to make the connection with them.
Yeah. And then the last one here is experiential marketing could make a comeback. So in here, they talked about augmented reality and virtual reality, and I think that would be really, really cool. If you cannot make an in-person convention, maybe you'll be able to attend somehow as virtual reality. I think that would be very, very cool. But at the same time, we've noticed the value of being in person and shaking hands with people in the same industry. So obviously, there has been more events picking back up, and we totally recommend doing those. Honestly, we've created very strong relationships. We found a lot of people to bring into our platforms based on those events and partnerships and business as well. So again, it is picking back up. So make sure you start buying your plane tickets and the event tickets so you can go and meet some awesome people.
Absolutely. Not only that, right? If you are looking into this and creating an experience, an event where you have people coming on, yes, it can be a heavy lift to bring those in. But the commitment of those that come to your event is going to be way higher, right? Those who pay attention. We're actually planning, not internally for us, but we're helping plan like a daily boot camp for one of our clients. And they are planning this whole experience where they fly people in, right? And their goal is to have 10 people. But these 10 people that come in into that one day experience, they're going to be way qualified into what their product is, right? They have $50,000, $300,000 products on the back end. And these people that show that intention, that invest in going to that experience, are going to be primed to do that because they're building their relationship with you in a more intimate environment. So if you're a company that has those kind of products or you're looking into building something like this, keep that in mind. It's so worth it.
Wait 1 second. So worth it?
So worth it.
All right, that's it.
That's it. With that said, guys, thank you so much for tuning into the Content is Profit podcast. Go ahead and follow the show in your favorite podcasting platforms and on social media at BIZBROS Co. Again.
Guys, if today's episode helped you with one step closer towards your goal, please don't forget to share it. And the outro is over. Okay, see ya.
Let's do it again. Hold on.
No, we're out.
Okay.
We're out of here. Don't forget to share it. This is raw. This is what we preach. Raw in the moment, baby. Let's go.